Dear lovely seniors, let me start with a smile and a little story. There was once an old man in Yorkshire who said, "I can handle anything life throws at me as long as it's not sugar in my tea." He chuckled, but deep down, he knew what many of us have come to realize. Sugar, though sweet, can sometimes be a silent guest at the table, invited or not. Diabetes, my dear friends, is one of those things that often sneaks into our lives quietly. It doesn't make a grand entrance. There's no trumpet, no drama, just little whispers from the body. A bit more tired than usual, a bit thirstier, a bruise that takes its time healing. And suddenly, a visit to the doctor turns into a new chapter. So, what is diabetes? At its heart, diabetes is a condition where our bodies struggle to process glucose, the sugar in our blood. Normally, a clever little hormone called insulin acts like a key. It unlocks our cells so sugar from our food can enter and be used as energy. But with type 2 diabetes, which is the most common form, especially in people over 60, that key doesn't work very well. Either there's not enough insulin, or the cells have stopped responding to it like they used to. According to the World Health Organization, over 25% of Europeans aged 65 and above live with type 2 diabetes or prediabetes. It's not just a statistic, it's a wake-up call. And if you're reading this and thinking, "Oh, but I feel fine," you're not alone. Many people live for years without realizing their blood sugar has been climbing silently. Awareness is the greatest agent for change, said Eckhart Tolle, and how true that is. Understanding what's going on in our own bodies is the first most powerful step we can take. Not to panic, not to blame, but to walk forward with care and courage. Let's make this clear, lovely seniors. Diabetes is not your fault. It's not a punishment for enjoying life or for that extra biscuit with afternoon tea. There are many reasons it appears: genetics, aging, hormonal changes, lifestyle factors, and sometimes just the luck of the draw. The point is not how it came, but what we do now that it's here. We live in a world where everything is fast food, fast internet, fast answers. But our bodies, especially as we age, ask for something different. Slowness, thoughtfulness, simplicity. Managing diabetes is about going back to those values. So why should we care? Because when left unnoticed or unmanaged, diabetes doesn't just stay in the background. It starts to affect the eyes, the nerves, the kidneys, and even our hearts. But here's the beautiful truth. With knowledge and small, steady changes, we can outsmart it. Not defeat it completely, perhaps, but dance with it gracefully without letting it step on our toes. And let's not forget the power of community. In Sweden, a study showed that older adults who joined diabetes support groups experienced better glucose control and lower anxiety. Connection heals in more ways than one. And now, a gentle smile and a reminder from ancient wisdom. He who has health has hope, and he who has hope has everything. Arab proverb. So, let us begin this journey together, not with fear, but with curiosity. Let us walk gently, holding hands with awareness and laughter. And remember, my dear lovely seniors, growing older is not a burden. It is a privilege. Let's cherish our years with wisdom, warmth, and just enough humor to sweeten the way. In the next part, we'll peek inside our bodies and see why diabetes shows up, what's really going on under the skin. But for now, have a cup of tea. Without sugar, if you please. Stretch your legs and take a moment to breathe. We're in this together. Would you like me to begin writing part 2 now? How diabetes happens inside the body. Dear lovely seniors, let us imagine for a moment that our bodies are like old, well-run villages. Every part has its purpose, every cell, every organ, like a little shop or cottage. Some make energy, others clean up waste, and some, like the pancreas, run a busy post office, sorting and delivering an essential message. Insulin, as you may remember, is the key that opens the door for sugar to enter our cells. where it can be turned into energy. But what if that key starts to rust? What if the locks become stubborn with age? That, dear friends, is how type 2 diabetes begins quietly, gradually, as the postman grows tired and the locks grow stiff. Let's take a gentle walk through what's happening inside. As we age, our cells don't respond to insulin the way they used to. The term for this is insulin resistance. The sugar stays in the bloodstream instead of going into the cells, building up over time. The pancreas, ever the loyal servant, tries to compensate, producing more insulin, knocking on the doors again and again. But eventually, it starts to wear out. It's not that it gives up entirely, but like many of us, it slows down with age. And that's when blood sugar levels begin to rise beyond healthy limits. According to a 2019 European diabetes study, over 50% of people over 65 with early stage insulin resistance didn't even know they had it. Because the symptoms are so gentle fatigue, blurry vision, a bit more thirst, it's easy to brush them off as just getting older. But here's a little thought to keep close. The body whispers before it screams. If we learn to listen early, we can respond with kindness and care before things become more difficult. You might be wondering, why now? Why in our golden years? Well, part of the answer lies in the long road behind us. Our bodies carry the echoes of decades meals shared. Late night snacks, joyful celebrations, stress-filled days, missed walks, sweet memories, and the occasional forgotten vegetable. Over time, the balance tips. Muscles may shrink, we move less, our metabolism slows down, and fat gathers around the belly, right, where it quietly fuels insulin resistance. But don't worry, we're not here to scold ourselves for the past. We're here to understand and to walk forward wiser. There's good news. The body, even in its later years, is remarkably forgiving. Studies from Germany's Center for Diabetes Research found that gentle changes in diet and a 30-minute walk 5 days a week led to dramatic improvements in insulin sensitivity in seniors. Not marathons, not kale smoothies, just little steps and mindful choices. Think of it this way. If the cells are no longer listening to insulin's polite knock, sometimes we just need to knock differently, softer meals, fewer processed foods, and a bit more movement to open those stubborn doors again. And while we're at it, let's keep humor by our side. As a Danish friend once said, growing old is like having a fridge. Things don't work quite the way they used to, but you can still keep the cheese from going bad. And that, I believe, is a success. One more pearl of wisdom for the journey. Do not go where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. Ralph Waldo Emerson. So let's leave a trail of self-care, awareness, and courage. Let's whisper back to our bodies. We hear you. We're with you. Let's take this slowly, together. In our next part, we'll talk about the signs, the gentle clues diabetes gives us when it's trying to get our attention. But until then, dear lovely seniors, breathe deeply, smile gently, and maybe take a short walk even if it's just to the kettle. We're learning, and that's something worth celebrating. Dear lovely seniors, have you ever had the feeling that your body was trying to tell you something, but speaking in riddles? Like when you forget where you left your glasses only to find them on your head. Sometimes diabetes is a bit like that. It's there, whispering, nudging, tapping on your shoulder, but ever so politely. That's what makes it tricky. The symptoms of diabetes, especially in older adults, are often so gentle and so easy to dismiss. They feel like nothing at all. A bit more tired than usual. Must be the weather. Waking up more often to wee at night? That's just what happens with age, right? Not always. Let's take a little moment to go through these subtle signs gently, without fear, just awareness. Because the sooner we notice, the sooner we can take kind, sensible steps forward. 1. Fatigue that lingers. Not just the kind of tiredness after gardening or walking the dog. No, this is that slow, dragging tiredness that clings to your bones, even after a good night's sleep. When your cells can't absorb sugar properly, They don't get the fuel they need, leaving you feeling like your battery never quite reaches full. 2. Frequent urination. If you find yourself heading to the toilet more often, especially at night, it might be more than just age. High blood sugar draws fluid out of the tissues, making the kidneys work harder, which leads to more trips to the loo. 3. Excessive thirst. This one often comes hand in hand with the above. If you find yourself always reaching for water, especially at unusual times, it may be your body's way of trying to balance the excess sugar. 4. Blurry vision. Not just the usual "where are my reading glasses" blur, but occasional, unexpected changes in vision. High sugar levels can cause the lenses of the eyes to swell, making your sight fluctuate. 5. Cuts and bruises that heal slowly. As we age, we expect healing to take a bit longer. But with diabetes, the process slows even more, especially in the feet and legs. It's one of the reasons regular foot checks are so important. 6. Tingling or numbness in hands and feet. This may feel like pins and needles, or a strange coldness. High blood sugar can damage nerves over time, a condition called diabetic neuropathy, often starting in the toes and fingers. Now, here's a bit of humor to lighten the moment. A Welsh grandmother once said, "If I go to the loo one more time tonight, I may as well sleep in the bathroom." It got a laugh, but the doctor took it seriously. And that joke may have saved her feet and eyes. Because that's the thing, dear seniors, these signs don't come with fireworks. They come with small inconveniences, gentle oddities, easy to ignore moments. But you know your body better than anyone. You've lived in it for decades. If something feels off, it's worth a quiet conversation with your GP. According to a study from the University of Helsinki, nearly 35% of people over 70 diagnosed with diabetes said they'd had symptoms for years but didn't mention them because they thought they were just part of getting older. Let's break that myth together. You're not just old. You are wise, you are experienced. And you deserve to feel as well and energized as possible. Here's a wise thought from the past. The fool talks, the wise man listens. The elder acts. Norwegian proverb. So, if you notice one of these subtle signs, act. Not with panic, but with love. Book a blood test. Ask for a checkup. Speak up for your body. It's been speaking up for you for a long time. And remember, humor is still our best medicine. If you feel like you're living in the bathroom, or that your feet have gone on holiday without you, laugh gently but also listen. The body is wise. And so are you. In our next part, we'll explore how diagnosis can be made, what tests exist, what they mean, and how to take those first steps with grace and courage. But until then, take a moment, wiggle your toes, sip your tea, and give yourself a silent thank you for being curious, brave, and wonderfully alive. Dear lovely seniors, let's imagine for a moment that your body is a mystery novel. The clues are there scattered like breadcrumbs, but it takes a bit of detective work to see the full picture. A diagnosis of diabetes isn't a punishment. It's a revelation. It's the moment where the pieces fall into place, and suddenly, you understand the story your body has been trying to tell. But how do we get to that moment? How do doctors know when something is truly amiss? It starts with a conversation, not a dramatic interrogation, but a warm, curious chat. The GP may ask about your energy levels, thirst, toilet habits, weight changes, vision, or any tingling in your hands and feet. Every answer adds a brushstroke to the painting. Then come the tests. Simple, usually painless, but packed with information. 1. Fasting blood sugar test. You skip breakfast, pop in to see the nurse, and have a bit of blood taken. If your sugar level is 126 milligrams DL 7.0 mol or higher, it's a sign that the sugar in your blood is staying around longer than it should. A second test is usually done to confirm it. 2. HbA1c test, glycated hemoglobin. This one's the quiet genius of the bunch. It shows your average blood sugar level over the past 2 to 3 months. If it's 6.5%, 48 mol per mole or higher. You may be living with diabetes sometimes without even knowing it. Think of it as reading your body's diary rather than just today's entry. 3. Oral glucose tolerance test. OGTT. You drink a sugary drink, not the most thrilling cocktail then. Wait for a couple of hours before another blood test. It shows how well your body handles sugar over time. Now, if one of these tests shows that your levels are elevated but not quite diabetic, your doctor might say you have pre-diabetes. A gentle warning, not a sentence. It's the perfect time to make changes because at this stage, the body often responds beautifully to even modest effort. According to a French study published in the European Journal of Endocrinology, more than 40% of people over 65 with pre-diabetes reversed the trend within 2 years through lifestyle adjustments alone, like improving their meals, walking regularly, and losing just 5 to 7% of their body weight. It's a reminder that it's never too late to reclaim the pen and write a new chapter. Now, some seniors worry that getting a diagnosis means a sudden leap to medication, insulin, or finger pricks. But that's not always the case. Doctors today are far more focused on gentle beginnings, small, realistic shifts tailored to your needs and your life. Here's a little humor to lighten the load. An Irish grandfather once said, "I don't mind the blood test, I just mind missing breakfast." We hear you, Granddad. But better one missed breakfast than years of silence. Sugar damage. Let's pause for a moment and reflect with a bit of wisdom. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. Aristotle getting tested. Dear seniors, is an act of self-respect. It's not weakness. It's not overreacting. It's saying, I value this life. I'm still curious. I still care. So if you've been feeling a bit off, or even if you haven't asked for that checkup, invite clarity into your life. Whether the results show diabetes, pre-diabetes, or perfectly normal levels, knowing is always better than guessing. Because when we know what's going on inside, we can make decisions with kindness, calm, and a little spark of humor. In our next part, we'll explore the role of food, not just what to avoid, but what to embrace with love, flavor, and joy still very much on the menu. But until then, breathe easy, hold your head high, and perhaps schedule that gentle visit with your GP. You've earned the right to know your story and to shape how it continues. Dear lovely seniors, let's begin with a warm truth. Food is not the enemy. It never was. Food is memory. It's Sunday dinners, birthday cakes, stolen biscuits with the grandchildren, and those quiet, golden breakfasts by the window. So, when the word diabetes shows up and someone mutters diet, it's natural to feel a little guarded. Will I never taste jam again? Is bread forbidden? Must life become a spreadsheet of carbs and sugars? Take a breath, dear friends. Because we're not here to ban joy, we're here to befriend it. Wisely. In fact, the right food can be our gentlest medicine. Not medicine that arrives in bottles, but in bowls and baskets. Food that loves your body back. Let's talk strategy. Not sacrifice. Managing diabetes isn't about eating less, but eating smart. Imagine your plate like a beautiful landscape, colorful, balanced, and satisfying. Here's a simple visual. Half your plate, non-starchy vegetables, broccoli, spinach, peppers, courgettes. 1/4, lean protein grilled chicken, eggs, tofu, or a nice bit of fish. The last quarter, whole grains or healthy carbs like brown rice, quinoa, or sweet potatoes. 1, fiber is your friend. Whole grains, legumes, seeds, they slow the release of sugar into your bloodstream, keeping you steady. Oats in the morning, brilliant. Lentil soup for lunch, even better. 2, go natural with sweetness. Instead of refined sugar, try fruits, berries, apples, or a slice of pear. They offer sweetness with fiber, vitamins, and none of the blood sugar spike. As an old Greek saying goes, let food be your medicine, and medicine be your food. Hippocrates, he would have made a smashing dietitian. By the way. Closing parenthesis 3, Watch the white stuff. White bread, white rice, sugary pastries. They act fast, like a firework. Lovely at first, but then a crash. Swap them out slowly for heartier choices. Your taste buds will adjust, and you may even find new FAVOURITE stop for. Fats? Choose wisely. Olive oil, avocados, walnuts, fatty fish. These healthy fats support your heart and don't mess with your blood sugar. A little goes a long way. 0.5. Mind the salt and sauces. Many processed foods sneak in extra sugar and salt, so be kind to your kidneys and read those labels. Or better yet, cook simply and season with herbs, lemon, or garlic. Now, let's lighten the mood with a smile. A Scottish gram once said, "They told me to cut carbs, so I have my shortbread. Then I ate the other half out of protest." We've all been there. But we also know that food isn't just fuel, it's comfort, culture, and connection. We're not here to erase joy, just to update the menu. A 2021 study from King's College London found that older adults who embraced a Mediterranean-style diet rich in veg, fish, nuts, olive oil, and very little red meat reduced their risk of developing type 2 diabetes by 30%. That's not a prescription. It's an invitation to deliciousness. A note on treats: yes, you can still enjoy a little cake. Just maybe not every day. Pair it with a walk or after a meal rich in fiber and protein. And don't forget the why behind it: a birthday, a visit, a memory. That matters. Here's a bit of quiet wisdom to savor with your tea. Joy is not in things. It is in us. Richard Wagner. So, eat well not out of fear, but out of love. Got love for your body. Got love for your years still ahead. Got love for the stories yet to be shared over slow. Beautiful meals. In our next part, we'll explore how gentle movement, nothing fancy, just a stroll or a stretch, can become your most faithful ally in managing diabetes and keeping your spirit alive. But until then, lay your fork down with pride. You're not giving up pleasure. You're learning to choose it with care and grace. Bon appetit, lovely one. Dear lovely seniors, if food is our medicine, then movement is the melody that keeps everything in tune. Not a sprint, not a marathon, but a gentle waltz with our bodies. And guess what? You don't need Lycra leggings or a gym membership to join the dance. Let's throw out the word exercise for a moment. Too many of us associate it with effort, sweat, or some stern instructor barking out squats. Instead, let's talk about movement. Simple, joyful, meaningful movement done with a smile, a sigh, or a quiet hum. You see, when we move, our muscles become little sugar sponges, soaking up excess glucose in the blood. That's right, movement naturally lowers blood sugar. Even a 15-minute stroll after a meal can help the body process what we've just eaten more smoothly. In fact, a German study published in Diabetologia found that older adults who walked just 20 minutes after lunch or dinner had significantly improved blood sugar levels compared to those who sat still. No sprinting, no sweat, just a lovely stroll. Let's break it down. 1. Walking. The magic step: a gentle walk in the park, around the garden, or even laps inside your home. It's all movement. It tells your body, we're still here, still going, still dancing with life. 2. Stretching and flexibility. A bit of morning stretching can improve circulation, ease stiffness, and start the day with grace. Try reaching up, down, and side to side. Roll those shoulders. Loosen the neck. It's not about doing it perfectly. It's about doing it kindly. 3. Balance and strength. Small strength movements like standing from a chair without using your hands or lifting light objects help maintain muscles that keep you steady and safe. Remember, falls are not just painful, they're isolating. A bit of balance work can keep you upright and confident. As the philosopher Lao Tzu once said, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, even if that step is in slippers. And here's a chuckle. An old Frenchman was asked why. He walked to the bakery every morning at 85. He said, "So I can eat my croissant and earn it too." That's the spirit. Movement doesn't have to be punishment. It can be permission. Permission to enjoy food, enjoy life, and enjoy yourself. 4. Do it your way. Some of us prefer gardening. Others sway to music in the living room. Some love Tai Chi. Others prefer lifting tins of beans while waiting for the kettle. There's no right or wrong, just your rhythm. Your rules. 5. The hidden magic of routine. When movement becomes part of your daily flow, morning stretches, afternoon walks, a tidy up dance, it stops feeling like work. It becomes self-respect in motion. Now, a bit of science with heart. Research from the University of Exeter found that even modest movement, done regularly, lowered HbA1c levels, that long-term blood sugar marker we talked about in people over 60 by an average of 0.6%. That's a significant dip from simply doing a bit each day. And the emotional lift, that's priceless. Because movement doesn't just improve glucose. It reduces anxiety, eases low mood, encourages sleep, and best of all, it reminds you that you are not done yet. You're still in the dance. So, dear ones, lace up your most comfortable shoes, put on your favorite scarf, or just sit by the window and do a little toe tap. Whatever it is, make it. Yours. In our next part, we'll speak tenderly about emotions, loneliness, and the mental weight of diabetes, because numbers alone don't tell the whole story. But until then, step forward with pride. Your body may be older, but it's still yours. And every movement you make is a beautiful act of care. Dear lovely seniors, there's a side to diabetes that no chart or blood test can measure. It's the silent ache in the heart, the weight of the unknown, the quiet wondering. Am I doing enough? Am I still me? Because when the diagnosis comes, it doesn't just speak to the body, it whispers to the soul. It brings with it numbers, rules, and changes, but also shadows of fear, loneliness, and even guilt. And let's be honest, it can be exhausting. So today, let's pause from food and footsteps and sit with our feelings for a while. You're not alone. The unseen companion many seniors with diabetes experience what's known as diabetes distress. It's not depression exactly, nor simple worry. It's a specific emotional strain caused by the never-ending care this condition demands. You may have thought, I'm tired of measuring everything. I miss the ease of my old life. Why did this have to happen now, in my golden years? These thoughts are not weakness. They are echoes of being human. A recent Swedish study showed that over 40% of seniors with diabetes reported significant emotional burden, especially when living alone or without strong social support. And yet, so few speak of it. As the poet Rumi once said, the wound is the place where the light enters you. Your vulnerability is not something to hide, it's something to honor. And talking about it can be a form of healing. Let's name a few gentle truths. It's okay to feel overwhelmed. You've had decades of habits, routines, and joys. Changing them doesn't happen overnight. It's okay to miss things, like late night sweets or carefree days. Missing is not the same as giving up. It's okay to ask for help, whether from a doctor, a neighbor, a grandchild, or a support group. You are not a burden. You are a blessing in someone's life. A lovely Irish grandmother once joked, growing old is like being a teapot, a bit cracked, but still capable of holding warmth. That warmth, dear one, comes from connection. What can help ease the heart? Routine conversations. A weekly chat with a friend or loved one can lift the fog. Support groups, in person or online. Connecting with others who understand your journey can offer both comfort and clarity. Creativity, writing, sketching, gardening. Knitting, anything that lets your soul breathe without numbers or labels. Mindful moments. Even a few minutes of breathing with awareness each morning can gently shift your mood and blood. Sugar, a bit of science for the soul. Research from the University of Oxford found that older adults with diabetes who engaged in light social activities such as chatting with neighbors, attending a club, or writing letters showed improved self-care, lower distress scores, and better glucose control over 6 months. It's not always insulin or diets that help, it's being seen, heard, and loved. And here's something quietly beautiful. We are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. Pierre Teilhard de Chardin diabetes may be part of your story now, but it is not the author. You are. So be kind to yourself. Speak gently inside your mind. And if today feels heavy, tell someone, even me, because no one should carry their health. In silence. In our final part, we'll speak about hope, the healing power of attitude, adaptation, and living fully even with diabetes by your side. But for now, let your heart breathe. You're doing better than you think. Dear lovely seniors, as we come to the final part of our series, I want to remind you of something simple but profound. You are not defined by diabetes. You are not the sum of your numbers, your blood tests, or even the days when you feel overwhelmed. You are defined by your spirit, by the way you love, the way you laugh, and the way you carry yourself through every season of life. And so, today let's talk about living fully. Because diabetes isn't the end of a story, it's just a chapter. A chapter where we learn to adapt, to hope, to laugh, and most importantly, to live well. 1. The power of hope. Hope is a funny thing. It's not always about having all the answers or knowing exactly what's going to happen next. Sometimes, hope is simply waking up in the morning and deciding that today will be a good day even if it's filled with challenges. In fact, hope can be a powerful medicine in itself. Studies have shown that people with a hopeful outlook tend to manage chronic conditions like diabetes better. Their blood pressure stays lower. Their heart is healthier. They feel more empowered. Hope is not wishful thinking. It's a mindset that shapes the future, one small choice at a time. A study from the American Diabetes Association concluded that hopeful people who engaged in positive self-talk and visualization techniques had significantly improved blood sugar levels after just 6 months. As the wonderful Nelson Mandela once said, "It always seems impossible until it's done." So don't worry about perfect days. Just take one hopeful step at a time. 2. Medicine of humor, laughter. It's free. It's contagious. And it's incredibly healing. As a British study recently revealed, laughter can help regulate stress hormones, lower blood pressure, and improve your body's ability to process glucose. I know diabetes is serious, but there's no rule that says you can't find moments of lightness. One lovely senior I know, when asked how she managed, said, "I tell my diabetes, you can be as bossy as you want, but I'm still eating chocolate cake. I just won't eat the whole thing." Now that's the spirit. Humor gives us permission to acknowledge the difficulties of living with diabetes, but not to be defined by them. It lets us breathe, to laugh at ourselves, and to find joy even on the days when it feels a little tough. 3. Adaptation. The quiet strength. The key to living fully is adaptation. Diabetes doesn't ask you to give up the life you love. It asks you to live with it in a way that still honors your desires and dreams. Change, however, is inevitable. But remember, adaptation is not about losing yourself. It's about finding new paths. Maybe you used to love long strolls by the beach. Now, it's a shorter walk, but with a soft breeze in your face. Maybe you love gardening, but now you plant smaller pots, moving them when needed. These are small shifts, but they are important. Every adjustment you make shows your strength, your wisdom, and your deep understanding of life's rhythm. Remember the words of the famous philosopher Heraclitus: "The only constant in life is change." And lovely seniors, you have proven time and time again that you can embrace change with grace and dignity. 4. Staying connected. The final secret to living fully is connection. Connection with others, with nature, with your community, and with your own inner joy. When diabetes isolates us, whether physically or emotionally, we must take extra care to reach out. Call a friend, visit a neighbor, join a club, or if that feels too much, simply smile at the person in the grocery store. Social connection isn't just good for the heart, it's good for your body. A study from the National Institute on Aging found that seniors who maintain social connections have better health outcomes and lower stress levels. Even if you're by yourself more often than not, keep your spirit connected to others. Reach out online, share a memory with family, or simply sit quietly with your thoughts and remember the wonderful stories you've lived. Your legacy is in these moments. 5. Living with purpose is perhaps the most beautiful way to live fully. Find what fills your heart. Whether it's a hobby, a passion, or a cause that inspires you, these things bring joy, not just to your life, but to the lives of others. Purpose gives us a reason to smile every morning, a reason to keep moving, to keep giving. A study by the Harvard School of Public Health confirmed that people with a sense of purpose in life tend to have better physical health, longer lives, and a stronger immune system. So, lovely one, what is your purpose today? Is it to share a story with a friend? To tend your garden? Or to simply enjoy a warm cup of tea and reflect on how far you've come? As the famous artist Pablo Picasso once said, the meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away. So give freely, laugh often, and live fully. You are, in every sense, an extraordinary human being. Diabetes is just a part of your story, but it does not define the beauty, the warmth, or the kindness you bring to this world. And with that, we've reached the end of this beautiful journey together. I hope each part of this series has offered you comfort, insight, and encouragement. Remember, diabetes doesn't define you. You define your life. Stay hopeful, stay connected, and keep living fully, lovely seniors. Thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you found comfort and inspiration in the journey we've shared today. Remember, you are never alone on this path. And no matter where you are in your diabetes journey, there's always room for hope, laughter, and growth. If you found this video helpful, please consider giving it a thumbs up, subscribing to our channel, and sharing it with someone who might need to hear these words. Leave a comment below. We'd love to hear your thoughts and stories. And don't forget to hit the bell icon so you won't miss any of our future videos. Until next time, take care of yourself and keep living fully, lovely seniors.